Welcome back. Forget about an intro. We're pissed. You're pissed. Let's get right into it.
You saw it. We saw it. Uruguay and USA. Uruguay with a 1-0 win. It is not looking good for the USA at all whatsoever. Any department. This loss is a reflection of just pretty much Greg Berhalter's whole tenure.
I also want to point out that it's a failure of the whole federation. This is a top to bottom thing. This is a big part on Greg. But at the same time, who gave him the keys to the castle?
Yeah.
Who put him in charge? Who went through that vetting process that they felt so strongly on that Greg was the best man to lead us forward? They have to take blame as well. Everybody. Nobody is blameless, including the players.
Even the players who are the ones who also support Greg Berhalter being in the job, who voice their opinions.
Voice their support. Because obviously, it's a tough situation. What are you going to do? No, I hope this motherfucker gets fired. No.
At the same time, I don't think for them to come out as many did, wanting him to stay, that shows that they won him. And It's pretty much a fucking pity party around this motherfucking confederation about who does what, and we're just here to please everyone, and we want to make everybody happy, which is great. I want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to enjoy coming to the USA international camps and things like that. But you have to fucking earn it at some point.
You have to be able to take yourself out of the situation in terms of emotion with the people, because obviously all these players are people. They all have their own lives, things going on, and we should always remember that, or be mindful of that. But at the same time, you're here for a job. Yeah. You're here to do what you are born to do. These people are the greatest athletes and players that we have as a nation to represent us. They need to represent us, because I can tell you that their passion does not match ours when it comes to the last few performances that we've seen in this tournament.
Overall, in this Uruguay game, we played all right. I think to ease our frustrations a bit in this video, we'll talk about the game a bit more. The game, overall, I think we played all right. It's Uruguay. We do lose 1-0 off of a goal that very questionable, very, very questionable. Refereeing decisions, very, very questionable. The USA, depending on a Panama and Bolivia draw and or loss to Panama for us to go through. And yet, that is out the door. And to get a win against Uruguay, as difficult as it is.
Absolutely.
And for us to have these refereeing decisions go against us as much they went against us, and Uruguay, hats off to them, they won, probably deservedly so. In the end, though, this refereeing is insane.
We can't pin it all on them, obviously. we have to take accountability, but there are some things where you have to point out and say, hey, that's fucked up. That's dodgy. That shouldn't have happened. I mean, you think about it, 2 occasions really early in the game. The first one being the yellow card that they give out and stop the play and then let Uruguay continue their advantage. That's not the way it should operate. Either you stop the game and you give them the yellow card, or you play the advantage from the pass and from the foul. You can't have the best of both ways. And that's what the ref did for Uruguay. And then later in the game, or later on in the first half, we see similar situation where the United States gets an advantage. We have a clear advantage for Pulisic to run onto. Nope, bring it back. That's a foul. Bring it back. No advantage. But when it's Uruguay, they get all the advantages.
In between both of those fouls as well, we have to give another shout out to this referee. And there's a lot we could get into this referee. We're not going to keep hating on him the whole video, because that's not what this video is about. This video is about the USA.
That's for the law to do.
Tyler Adams receiving a yellow card when Tyler Adams is fouled. I don't understand that. That right there really had me questioning this referee's ability. The commentator even pointing out that he's a newer referee in the beginning of the game. VAR not helping us at all. The officiating is all over the place, probably for this whole tournament.
Yeah.
And again, it just really gives the Europeans another reason to laugh at our whole competition. CONMEBOL, Copa America, South American countries, North American, Central American, all of us, just as a whole, because we're so, like, in the past with so many different things. Our VAR technology, fucking shit. Our referees, shit. It's ridiculous.
The quality in on-screen entertainment for people in terms of the Euros and the Copa America is astronomical. And then you add in to the factor that these referees, these official stadiums, the fields, and this is happening in America, so I'll be sure to let you know, this is our fault. These fucking idiots that run our federation decided, yeah, that's fine, we can have grass over top of concrete. Just horrible errors that show how far back both CONMEBOL and the CONCACAF are in terms of quality, not just on the pitch, but in terms of behind the scenes, refereeing, technology that they have available. VAR, why are we drawing lines on a screen? Why are we doing that? Bring in the goal technology the same way that the Euros has. To be clear, if this is an inch and a half offside, it's offside. There's nothing we can do about it. But no, we've got some idiots in a booth drawing lines on a screen that aren't even fucking straight.
Nope.
Multiple angles of the same thing showed that he was, if onside, literally a fucking hair onside if he was. But we don't have clear proof or a definitive answer to sit here and say, you know what, he was onside. We don't have it.
It's ridiculous all around from the refereeing. The team, again, I think we could have played a little bit better, certain players. I think Pulisic could have showed out a little bit more. Balogun coming off. Reyna, decent game. Adams, okay game. McKinney, disappointing. Yeah. All 3 games, it seems like. Back line, all right.
Pretty decent.
Matt Turner, all right. Can't really, Anthony Robinson, Fulham Player of the Year. Love that guy. He's been solid. Our most solid player throughout the tournament, throughout the year, honestly. Considering winning Fulham Player of the Year is pretty
impressive.
Yeah. So for a left back too, a left back from America, so big deal. But overall, I think this performance just kind of sums up, like I said at the beginning of the video, and we'll get right into Big GB. Overall,
not good enough.
Not good enough. Failure, regression from the World Cup. If you want to talk about the player quality, we have players playing in Europe, so the whole MLS thing isn't really a factor. But people who want to bring up MLS, the MLS, any American playing in the MLS doesn't touch this fucking 11. All right, don't even think about trying to include. The only one is Miles Robinson. That's the absolute only American who has a chance of touching this starting 11. Do not bring up MLS. It's not even an argument, okay? People on Twitter and shit like that, shut up. MLS is no bueno.
We don't really have a clear direction because, like Tanner said, regression. That's the key word in all this. We did okay by our standards in the World Cup, but now after these 3 games, we have regressed. And it's clear. And I think it's bullshit that we have players and coaches that come out and say, we're building to something. We're progressing. We're building towards a better future. When is the future? Because it's been like that for 6 fucking years. These players are good enough to compete with the best teams in this tournament or any tournament. Not the best. They aren't the best players in the world. But they as a collective should be able to compete with anybody inside the 10 to 15 range of the world rankings. There's nobody that can sit here and tell me that they have progressed over the last 2 years. Nobody.
Greg Berhalter and his team of analysts and all the U.S. Soccer Confederation, all of them, they love to butter it up, make it seem like it's better than it is. No. Okay? This was a failure. Okay? You have, I'm not even going to say the golden generation. That's bullshit. Shut up. It doesn't matter. That's not real. Okay, that's not real.
It's not a thing.
That is only until after you've done a few great things. That's something you say afterward. That's not something you say in the present. Okay, not at all. This generation is on paper much better than what we've had before.
Yes.
And I'll be the first to admit, I love all those old players, you know? Like Donovan, Dempsey, Zusi, Bradley, you know?
Easily. Like
keep going. Tim Howard. We love them all, okay?
John Brooks.
John Brooks.
Shout out John Brooks.
Shout out
You're
John
coming
Brooks,
back, bro. You're coming back.
Shout out John Brooks.
We get rid of Greg and you're coming back, bro. Just so many options that we have to go in. And I personally feel like there's so many things that we could do to help advance our federation over the next 2 years before the World Cup. Because I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but it's going to be here. This is the biggest tournament that we have ever had. This is a chance to show the world, hey, this is a game that we can play. This is a game that we can compete. And as the host nations, we're going to show you the best of the best. But with Greg motherfucking Berhalter as our coach, we will not. We will not be better.
These players, as I was saying, you can say they're better than the ones from the past. But those players from the past, they played as if they wanted to play for the USA. These players want to play for the USA, you can say that. But again, it comes down to Berhalter, the Confederation, the Federation, whatever the fuck. The whole thing, they're so soft and just, oh, you know, we want Greg because he's a nice guy, this and that. We want to have fun. We want to enjoy ourselves. Yes, that's okay. That's cool up to a point.
But do you care about winning?
We want to win now, okay? I don't care about, you know, the whole fucking we all get along like Southgate, you know, help us all fucking touch each other's butts and shit. We don't care. I don't care, okay? I don't care. I want to win. I want to progression. Like you say, us losing to the Netherlands, fair. We're not better than the Netherlands. Still could have played better, though, in that game.
Yes.
We get to this Copa America on our home soil. Greg Berhalter, you have the best generation as a whole squad of USA players that we've ever seen. You couldn't even do what the players of the past did, okay? And they'll even tell you, those players will tell you that as a squad, this is a better team. They'll tell you that.
From 1 to 25, the best roster that we could have possibly had over the last 60 years of us playing.
Probably.
These guys have so much quality and so much talent, and it's being wasted on this guy whose mentality has seeped through the entire federation. From top to bottom, players, kitmen, physios, trainers, whatever you want to point out, they have a weak mentality. You cannot sit here and tell me that in the 60th minute you are down 0-0 and you need a win to go through. Destiny is in your hands.
Yes, sir.
And you tell your players, hey, it's 1-1, guys. We can hold and get a fucking win or a draw and go through. That is weak loser mentality that we don't need around here.
Absolutely abysmal coaching it's been for a while now. I don't think we should be where we're at. We should be in the next round. We should be in the knockouts. And you know what? If we lose to a team like Brazil or Colombia, but we put up a fight, we show some grit, we show some passion, it is what it is, right? I can accept that as a fan and say, you know what, at the end of the day, I'm satisfied with the tournament. I think that's a good warm-up to show for the World Cup. But no, we lose to Panama. Now we lose to Uruguay. It shows so much problems, not only from these players' point of view, from the coach, the whole federation, as we've been saying this whole video. It's a problem from top to bottom, and it's a mentality thing. It's a mentality thing, because in terms of talent, we have pretty good talent. We have a top 15 team in the nation, or in the world. We have a top 15 nation in the world, but yet every time we go play one of those teams, unless it's Mexico, which all fucking fine and dandy. Yeah, we're beating Mexico. Finally, we're better than Mexico. That's fucking great. But Mexico is also on a decline. They have been we're not beating Mexico of old. It's not like we're beating the Chicharitos, the Carlos Velas, the old Mexico teams that they've had in the past that have been so great as collectives and things like that. It's not like we're beating them. We're beating a shit Mexico team.
We're in the middle of they're in a middle of a transition, and it's very apparent that the United States has dominated. We know that, and yes,
that's cool.
It is great. That's
cool.
Awesome. But when you go and you play anybody better, and you lose or you draw in horrible performances, it just puts a sour taste in your mouth. Like, yeah, it's great to win against Mexico. It's great to win the Nations League. But honestly...
Gold Cup, awesome.
Honestly,
cool.
Give yourself a round of applause, because you ain't getting it from me. You get a thumbs up. That's about it.
Good job. It's really expected now. And, again, we're in these tournaments that we're on our home soil, preparing for the World Cup. This was supposed to be a show to at least our part of the world that we're here, we can do something, we want to play.
A trial run.
And honestly, at the end of the day, I really feel bad mostly for these fans. The fans who showed up to the stadium, the fans who paid good money to want to go and see these players who don't get may not get that much of an opportunity, at least to watch a Copa America again.
Yeah.
Given we have the World Cup again, we'll get an opportunity then to see them again. But
games that matter.
Copa America, a game that matters, a knockout game a tournament we could get through on our home soil, that we could make something happen in. I really feel bad for all the fans who showed up and they had to watch Greg Berhalter and the U.S. men's national team put up performances against Panama like that. And then we go against Uruguay, an okay performance, but again, it's just disappointment. It's just not enough. And we all expect more. I don't expect us to win the whole fucking thing, but I expect more.
There's not really much else to say other than the fact that he needs to go.
He needs to go.
It's time to go. I mean, it's been time to go for the last 2 years, but at the same time, after they brought him back, you knew, okay, this is it. This is what we're in for. And you kind of accept it. You grit your teeth and you fucking take it.
We almost lost, I think it was a year or two ago, Gold Cup or Nations League, whatever the fuck. We almost lost to Jamaica in the semifinal before we go to Mexico. And we win that final, but it's Mexico. Again, whoop-de-doo. Okay? We should have been out then. We got lucky. Berhalter got lucky. Then we didn't get knocked out of the Nations League or Gold Cup or whatever it was to Jamaica, because then he surely should have been fired then, but no. We got lucky there. He should have been fired. He should have been fired a long time ago, is what I'm trying to say. This guy is not cut for this job, okay? And another thing with the Federation, it's holding us back because they're not going to want to pay a manager on the woman's side the same as a man on the men's team, because that's what's going to have to happen. Okay, that's how it's set up. That's what they chose to happen. And now, if we go and want Zinedine Zidane, throw it out there, whatever, any big name, anybody who's worth their fucking salt, that we would say, hey, this is a guy we maybe could get behind. I'm not saying it has to be Zidane, but anybody up there in, a known manager around the world. Something like that. That'd be crazy. Again, that'd be crazy. But having even the opportunity of that isn't there, because we're not gonna go and pay, who is it, Emma Hayes? Emma Hayes. We're not gonna go pay Emma Hayes 4, 5, 6, 7 multi-millions of dollars. We're not gonna do it. So we've kind of that, even when hopefully, if the fucking Federation has a set of nuts, they'll fire Greg. If you have a set of nuts, if you have ambition, if you have a want to do better, you'll fire Greg. Even if you do fire Greg, who can we go get? It doesn't really look good from top to bottom. We have some decent players, but that's just about it. That's all I can say.
And we can't even trust the process either, because one of the managers that they decided not to hire, guess what? He's in the quarterfinal.
With Canada. Our northern rival.
Just a stone's throw away.
Our northern rival.
Just didn't want him, didn't see the potential there, didn't think that would be good for the players, didn't want to cause too much of a stir, but look where we are now.
We want Greg. we want Greg, we want him to stand because he makes everybody happy. Oh, don't fucking care. Overall, though, it's a failure tournament. It's a failure from the players' side. It's a failure from Greg's side. The Federation as a whole. We have a World Cup in 2 years.
Lower your fucking ticket prices.
Yes. Ticket prices, it's just, we're just here for money. It seems like that's all they care about. USA is making more money, the Federation, the TV rights, the stadiums are filling more. But nothing's fucking happening on the field. We're not showing anything. But it doesn't seem like anybody cares, so.
Figure it out.
Nice.